Well, I just told my team, our team, that we played hard for about 15 to 18 minutes, as hard as we're capable of. And that's obviously very disappointing to me as a head coach and our staff. And, Branden is our senior. He's got to find a way to get these guys locked in and have them understand the intensity you need to play with to be a good team. There were some teams we played earlier in the year that we could probably, float a bit and give a partial effort, but that is not what we're all about, and that's not the way I want our teams to play. So something we really got to work at, and we got to carry it over from practice. I thought we slept walk a little bit in the first half, and then even the first few minutes of the second half. And then when we picked up the intensity and we got this great crowd, you got an opportunity with just about a packed house here to get the crowd behind you, and we did a good job. Now look, they're a good team. They're a veteran team. I thought Harvard did a wonderful job of weathering the storm when we got it down to 6 a couple times. But that's why you have a slew of veteran players. Right now Branden's the only senior out there for us. But nonetheless, a couple big plays, offensive rebound on a free throw really hurt us. We didn't double team a ball screen late that we were supposed to do. Brian Smith got in early foul trouble again. That can't happen. So it's got to make us better. We have one day to prepare for Siena. So we'll practice hard tomorrow and then jump on a bus and go up to Albany.
Questions? Coach felt John Sevier was kind of forcing it to pass it rather than go up strong in the first half, but he did have a strong second half. Do you feel like he was forcing it in the first half to pass it?
Yeah, I think he was struggling defensively a bit. It carried over to his offensive game. They were doing some things that was forcing him to do, make some reads defensively. I think that affected him offensively. I think he wasn't as aggressive as he usually is. He's got to come out of the gate that aggressive. Obviously, if he has a first half rather, like his second half, it's a different night for us. It's important for him to find shots, to chase shots, because he's that good an offensive player.
What do you think got him going in the second half?
I'm sorry?
What do you think got him going in the second half?
He made a shot or two. I talked to him about not forcing everything and putting everything on the floor. He's as good a catch-shoot guy. Sometimes he wants to put it on the deck first all the time, but he made his first couple just catching and elevating and knocking him down. I think that got him in his rhythm.
What do you think it's going to take to get him to have more consistent games to be able to...
Who?
John.
His age. He's got to get old. There's very few freshmen that are playing. The term we like to use is championship possessions, where every possession is at a high level. Your intensity's through the roof. Veterans play that way. It's very, very rare to find a freshman that can do that. And that's what he's struggling with. So the more time he gets on the floor, the more things he experiences on the floor, it's a learning process. There's a learning curve for freshmen no matter how good they are.
Tom, Harvard got some votes on the most recent national poll. I think that caliber.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, no doubt. I watched a lot of it. Just about every game they played, and I think they definitely have consideration as a top 25 team. They have great team balance. They all play within themselves. Nobody tries to do things they're not capable of doing. And Tommy and I have been friends for a long time, so other than when we play each other, I root hard for Harvard.
Do you feel like your bigs were overmatched because they were getting into the paint, but they weren't finishing? There were too many blocks.
Yeah, well, we talk all the time about them being able to elevate and score over people, and they struggled a little bit with that tonight. It was a very physical game, I thought, especially in the first half, both on the perimeter and then in the paint. I think it became less physical on the perimeter in the second half, which was good for us because we were driving the basketball. That's what our game plan was, to drive the ball and soften up the defense that way. But yeah, they struggled to score a little bit around the basket, and obviously, when you look at numbers and 2 for 7 and only 3 for 5, it's a concern.
What do you think you guys could do to maybe spread around the scoring a little more and get more people involved?
I don't want to. I just think that right now our scorers are scoring. We have 4 guys who can score the basketball, I feel, consistently. Branden, Mandel, John Sevier, Brian Smith. Our bigs they're works in progress. They're only sophomores. So I think if our bigs could, bless us each night with 10 points and 10 rebounds, and the 10 points, 4 on free throws, 4 on offensive rebounds, and 2 in half-court offense, we'd be pretty darn good. I think their roles will evolve as we get better. But that's really where we anticipate the scoring to come from. Anything we get on top of that, if one of those big guys has a big game, that's just gravy on everything else.
Coach, you talked about getting out of the gate slow. The rest of the team shot 6 of 21. Branden with 7 of 14. Talk about his performance in keeping you guys in the game in the first half.
Yeah, well, in the first half, I was talking to Branden about driving the basketball and then using his physicality to get the ball to the rim. He's bigger and he's a senior. He's a big guard. So, he made those kind of plays. We talk all the time about turnovers. He's a senior guard. You can't have 5. So, it just can't happen. And we can't have empty trips. It was funny, one of the other players who will remain nameless came in the other day and he said, Coach, I'm the only guy you yell at. And I started to laugh and I said, man, you don't know what you're in for next year when Branden leaves. Because all I do is yell at Branden. And I bring him in my office because I expect greatness from him because he's my senior guard and he's a New York kid and I expect him to play that way. So, he continued to compete, but you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Mandel Thomas, look, what are we going to say? He's got a bad hamstring. He's 2 for 10. You can't play that way. Brian Smith only gets 5 shots up. He's too good a player to only get 5 shots up. He's a junior. He's got to be able to, in the course of the game, he should be finding 5 shots in transition offense, and then in half court finding more. So these are all things we continue to work on. But look, they're a good basketball team, and we took them to the wire. And what was it, a 4 or 6 point game when I decided to get a technical just to make a point. But that's a good basketball team. It's just a shame. I always regret when if you play just guts out for 40 minutes and you lose a game, then you can sleep at night. But when you don't, that's what eats at coaches because there's great potential.
Tom, what did you say?
Oh, I can't say that
Well,
here.
in general terms.
I said I wasn't happy with the way that the game was officiated, but in a much more colorful way.
Branden, if every time you scored, got to 6, they responded. How deflating is that when you're trying to make a comeback like you guys tried to do?
It was just hard. We came down, made a couple of shots, and then we just couldn't stop them on the defensive end, which was making it tough for us to just keep going on our run. Every time we made a basket, they had to respond for it, and there was no way we was going to come back from that if we didn't get any stops. But that was just, I felt like that was it of the second half. We made shots. We would make 2 or 3 shots and then come back on the other end and just get a layup or get an and one and just messed our momentum up. It was we was making big shots. The crowd was getting into it, and then it would just come down and just make a big shot, and then they had the whole gym out, and that's what I think really messed us up in the second half a bit.
Guys, they shot 57%. Let's just start there. You're not going to win. We're not built to outscore people. They scored 94 points in our building, so it's just unacceptable. And that's effort. Defensive rebounding, I've said it 100 times, are 80% effort and toughness. And the other 20% is a little bit of technique. So, we got to work on that. Good?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all very much.